Winston-Salem, which will shut down Winston-Salem. So we drove up to Virginia, where her mom's is at. Got 8 inches of snow anyways, but they have tractors, and they plowed the lane for us. Drove to South Bend, Indiana, which I didn't realize South Bend, Indiana is the absolute worst place to stop in Indiana if you're ever traveling. Don't stop in South Bend, Indiana, because apparently they get more snow than any other place in Indiana. So we stayed the night there, got another 6 inches, drove up to West Bend, Wisconsin for our first meeting with Asher. He was a week and a half old at that point, and there's 2 inches of snow on the ground. And so we were a little disappointed, but we enjoyed it. The coldest it got, the high was -10. So it was a very cold meeting. Asher got acclimated to the north very quickly. But it was a good meeting, and we had a good time there with fellowship. And then we resumed our regular schedule. We had meetings throughout the spring. The summer came, and I only had called. I had called a lot, but the pastors had only said, "We want you for two meetings." And so we came home back to Winston-Salem a little bit discouraged, and talked to my deputation director and said, "Branden, don't worry about it. Just keep on praying, keep on calling. Don't worry about it." And so we were, okay, well, at this point we're about 30%. We were very excited and kind of had a dip in our deputation. Well, someone said, "I want you to think about, just go visit this church. Just stop in and shake the pastor's hand and talk to him a minute." And so we did that at a couple of churches. Next thing you know, our whole summer was pretty much full. We ended up having 10 to 12 meetings, and so we were praising the Lord for that, very glad for that. Picked up about $300 to $400 support a month in that time, and so very grateful. And so this fall was completely booked. We had actually someone retire, so we have one available Sunday until Thanksgiving in Wisconsin. So we were praying, "Lord, would you provide us a mission house?" And kind of heard a little bit from this church, maybe this church. And then about 2 weeks before we had to move, we got a call. "Yeah, you're good. Yeah, no, I think I forgot to call you. Something happened." The church is saying, "Okay." So they called us, and we're like, "Oh, that's no problem. You forgot." And he goes, "Okay, well, I need to tell you one more thing. The house doesn't have any furnishings at all." And I said, "Oh, well, that's okay. We get a blow-up mattress. Asher has a pack-and-play. This is kind of how we live. This is the normal for us, and so it's not a problem." And he goes, "Wait a second. You don't have any furniture?" I said, No. We live out of a car pretty much. I mean, we had a room we were staying in, especially while Asher was born, and we ended up putting all that room into storage, dividing up what we actually need to take to Africa and what we can get rid of, which is tough, but we did. And so that we end up getting up there last Tuesday, so 2 weeks from tomorrow. And the church actually furnished the whole house for us. And so Asher's got all kinds of new toys. He's got little things that he can walk around in and jump in. And there's a bed for us and a nice drop-side crib for him. And so it's a real blessing. We were very thankful for that church, and we're not expecting that at all. In terms of how our ministry is progressing on the field, we started originally with 4 couples about 7 years ago, planning to head to Ghana, West Africa. One couple had to leave the ministry indefinitely, and another couple was on deputation for about 5 to 6 years, about 40%, and they were praying what the Lord would have for them, and then all of a sudden the church called them in Florida and said, "We want to take you on for staff. And we want you to pray about that." And they said, "We're already praying about it." So they actually took a position there. And so that leaves us with us and another couple that's already there right now, just been there for a year. But our mission board requires that we work with the veteran missionaries, which makes sense. So we met another couple who's going to the same area that we were at, and actually has been ministering there for 13 years, came home for some family issues, and is now returning back. And so we're hoping to talk with them, and I think they know this, but we're going to try to partner up with them. And then the 3 of us will be in a general vicinity, not right in the same spot, but in a general vicinity, especially as we get acclimated to the culture and learning the language that you have to be in the country to learn the language of Twi. And so that's our ministry plan. What we're looking at targeted for leaving right now would be the end of next year, so next winter time, maybe December, maybe November. We're currently at 43% support. Sometimes you get the promised support, but it takes till the end of the month for it to come into the account. So 43% support. We're saying 43 because we're pretty certain they're going to do it, but we should hope to be at 50 by the end of this month or next month, depending on different churches voting. So we just want to say we appreciate your prayers, and we're very grateful we were able to come up during this time for the missions conference, and are excited to see what God's going to do the rest of the missions conference. So Thank you, Pastor.